start off by recognizing some people who, as I go through these items this morning, deserve recognition for the support and help they've given over these last 4 or 5 months. For one, as we discuss an initiative which will, I'm hoping, be very thrilling for all of you, and how we're going to do some things at C.W. Lewis Stadium, which we finalized last night at 9 o'clock. Dr. Zoma Toro, Provost of the University of Arkansas Little Rock, is here. Bob Denman, Vice Chancellor of Marketing and Strategic Planning, and the Abernathy Legal Counsel. And Ken Jackson, the Director of the local facility here at the UAR. In addition, we have an 8-member board of UALR advisors. Some of them are traveling and cannot be here today. It's Terry Benham, Wade Partridge. The ones that could make it today, Robin Freeman is in Washington, D.C. at a conference. The ones that could make it today, John Young, who is our current chairman of our UALR advisory board. Peggy Roberson is here somewhere, Peggy. And Dan Yoakum, who is our now Secretary-Treasurer of the Jeff Marlowe is the other member. He had called yesterday, left the email. He had planned on being here, unless Jeff's in the room. Last part of recognition for the ULR initiative, Dr. Ed Spurlock is, I know Pastor Spurlock is out there. He told me not to call him doctor. Ed Spurlock, who has worked with the legal people on our side and helped us finalize the other documents that you're going to see that are so important to this initiative. 2 other people I'll mention, and that is our city attorney, who I know is probably getting tired of me calling him at all hours of the day and night. Thank you, Brent, for all of that work. And before I forget it, there's, in all teams, you have to have somebody that can be assistant coach on certain things, and I'm very lucky that, I'm a numbers guy. I've never denied it. Numbers lead me to all kinds of conclusions. I've had Jerry Ponder, who is the chairman of our finance committee, who has done yeoman's work to help me work through, I don't even know how many hours of questions of all these things that I had to have answers on. So I know Jerry's here somewhere. Thank you, Jerry, for your help. So let's move on to the reason we're here this morning, and let's talk about C.W. Lewis Stadium. There's a picture of the guys, the Panthers, running on the field for the last game that was played there in November 2012. Now, folks, I tried as hard as I could to stay out of all that, one way or the other. People tell me I didn't do bad, but it is what it is, and it happened 2 years ago. I felt when I went to the advisory board, and John, if I get this wrong, you can correct me, about 3 or 4 months ago, Peggy, I said, I think there are some things we can do with C.W. Lewis Stadium that could still be an important value to this community for 3 or 4 years, because the ultimate of where this is all headed is a UALR building that's going to have 1,200 students. That's going to be an economic boom, which I believe, and I think the board believes, and everyone believes, changes our downtown forever. It sets in place anchors that are going to drive and bring commerce. I wish I could make it happen faster. But all of you that have been working with me for the last almost 4 years on this know I'm obsessed about this, as are all of you. This is going to happen. It's going to sit someday where C.W. Lewis sits, and it's a good thing. Just like Lyon College is a good thing for Batesville, like Ozark College is a good thing. I could go on and on. How many have driven Highway 40 recently through Morrilton and seen UA Morrilton? It's a good thing. You know why? It's not just the education. It's the economies, the activities, the people. 1,200 people up and down Market and Main Street, 7 in the morning till 9 at night. Our enrollment is stable and growing a little. That's not happening in every place. Thank you for your work. So what does that mean? Next slide. There is C.W. Lewis, a picture 2 days ago. If you notice in the far right back, the bandstand where the band played is gone. It's at the new complex. This is not a criticism of your people. They mowed recently. You can see the pilings of the grass. I can tell you that there have been code questions raised about, and should be, how are you going to take care of that place? Grass is growing here. There's all kinds of problems. Well, here's what we're going to do. Last night we secured the agreement of Bob Adams on the dotted line, which is signing off for ULR. I will be asking Council next Monday night to allow me to sign and execute this lease for 3 years for $1 a year. The C.W. Lewis Stadium will become an adjunct addition to the city parks system for at least 3 years. In so doing, we will open up through our Parks Department scheduling, just like Tyndall Park. Is John here? John knows this, his staff knows this. We have 7 or 8 different venues we're planning on talking to, but couldn't do it until after today, about activities we want to have scheduled and a chance to use C.W. Lewis Stadium. 2 other things you need to recognize, and that is you can't do a lot of that if you don't have parking, and thanks to First Baptist Church, we finalized last night a mutual parking agreement to use their parking lot for venues that will have hundreds of people, 200 and 300 cars, because you can't get them all on River Street and Smith Street. So thank you for your cooperation. A 3-year agreement renewed annually unless we need to get out of it. Certainly the church has some important events that we will have to recognize. They're going to let us know. We will try to schedule activities there. But that's all good. So as we open this up, the last major consideration was turn on the lights. Yes. Turn on the water. Yes. Turn on the restrooms. Yes. I met yesterday with Terry McKinney, is Terry here, and his people. It's going to take them 4 to 6 weeks to go through all the tests, take the cherry picker in and be sure all the lights work, do all the things we need to do. But I'm hoping by early to mid-October, we're going to have our Parks Department have a chance to start scheduling things. That's going to start happening at C.W. Lewis Stadium. It was all finalized last night. I was at a Parks meeting. I wish I could have told more last night, but the legal documents were not signed, nor sent to me until 9 o'clock. So that's where we are. Last comment about C.W. Lewis Stadium. Somebody said to me about 2 weeks ago, well, if you put it back in there, you're going to have to take it away again. When we do, Riverside Park will be ready, and we'll all be together doing the same things at Riverside Park. Boys Club, other programs, and all will be back together. So I think we'll have a lot less problem of, if you know a year later that's going to start, let's all go to Riverside Park and enjoy our new park. Let me move on to, and there's the rendering of what the building would look like with 1,200 students. Let's move on to the next item, which I want to announce this morning, which has an impact, I believe, on all of us, because we have not had in the city of Benton a specific emergency alert system for our citizens. I don't know if you heard about Code Red and communities that had Code Red and so on, but long story short, we made contact with the county a few weeks ago, we obtained the county's approval, including their legal counsel, to announce that the code red system the county has, which is you're going to see here on a slide, is available to all the citizens of Benton. We don't have to go start another program. We don't have to pay for anything. Everybody that wants to know about natural disaster alerts, potential flash flood, power, whatever it is going to be available. It's simple with the form we have. It's now going to be on our website. You go down the fifth bullet on the left, it says Code Red. You hit it, you go in, it shows you the forms. You can put your phone, your email, whatever it is, what mechanism you wish to receive those alerts on. And you don't have to, we don't have to have any standalone programs that the city has to put together and cost money. Next. This is the one that has been, we've been working on for months, and it's not just Jerry, it's been, I think Steve's here this morning, Bill Donner and others. I have only had a chance to talk with Carrie, and I think Lori's here. Is Lori here? And Evelyn's out of town and so on. Just in the last couple of weeks about all the details. Because once again, until we had a meeting, I believe it's Jody Guerrero's here, isn't he? Jody? From the actuarial company that we deal with, and I'm going to get the name wrong, Osborne, Guerrero, and Associates. It wasn't that bad. And we were not able to get together until Monday morning to go through all the actuarial numbers. So let me back up just a minute and bring you to where we are. 2.5 years ago, when we did this and set up charts and reviewed, we have 3 fundamental retirement plans that are not in Lofty. It is the Public Utilities Pension Fund. It is the non-uniform. It is the city's general fund, non-uniform. One has 78 current members, one has 52. And we have a Benton Fire Pension Relief Closed Fund. 2.5 years ago, the actuarial numbers for the first 2, the non-uniform utilities and general fund, the numbers were shaky, and the potential to take care of unfunded liabilities, which is one of the golden rules that all these numbers people keep hitting me with, was at best, how do you get there to pay almost 3 times what you have in assets? We took some very specific steps with the help of council. I think it was 2 years ago. We introduced a 2% and then a 4% contributory for all new hirees. I didn't want to do that, but I sure didn't want to do it to all the people that already worked here. We had to do something. I'm proud to say that as of Monday, Jody, if I get this wrong, I asked Jody to write me a letter because he got me to smiling, which wasn't easy when you're doing those kind of numbers. I said, Jody, if you were dealing with 4 quartiles and the bottom is 4 and 1 is the best, where would we fall? He said, top of 2 or bottom of 1. That's where we've come in 2.5 years. We are stable, we're solid, and we're going to get that in writing. Thank you, Julie. Thank you guys for all your work. Thank you, Gary. So let's move to the other one. We then went to discussions of the fire pension, we call it a relief fund. There are 32 members. The condition of that fund at the moment, I'll just tell you in raw numbers, is $7.2 million worth of liability and $1.8 million worth of assets. It doesn't take you long to figure out that's not going to work real long. We're on a path to default, and we're just not going to let that happen. Not with the employee base, what they've done. So I'm going to recommend to council some steps that we're going to take. Number 1, we just sent 3 weeks ago, I think it was after the July 28th meeting, is that right? The millage thing to the county, where we did not increase millage. We kept millage application to personal property at 4.1 bills, and we kept application for the fire pension for this specific fund at 0.4. I won't bore you with all the numbers, even though I know what they are. But just to say, we've got to do something on the 0.4 to support, because the earnings potential of the fund is not going to save it. We're too far upside down. I'm going to suggest to council that we redo the ordinance 43 at the next meeting, send back to the county assessor's office a new set of numbers to be used for assessed evaluations for 2015 collected in 2016, which will move 0.2 of the 4.1 over to the fire pension, raising it from 0.4 to 0.6. Removing then, on the personal property side, the 4.1 goes down to 3.9. So we're redistributing, taking something away from millage application that does do something on personal property, that does help the city. It is a general fund revenue source. But ladies and gentlemen, we have demonstrated that we are financially sound. We have a problem we need to deal with. We know how to deal with it. I'll just make this statement now because I think I've got it on a cue card. What does this really mean to the average citizen? Well, I know sometimes people call me an average citizen and sometimes they call me something else. Making that change on my personal property, our personal property, is $42. Moved from over to support the fire pension. Okay. 2.5 years ago, as I recall, we made a pledge, and last year when we went out to the public to sell the half cent and the half cent, we said the half cent would be dedicated to public safety. It is booked every month, the revenue, and is classified by item, by percentage. As we said, every item gets its share and it gets booked that way. We're not using that half cent to run the city. We're using it to expand our public safety services. Number 2, the quality of life half cent. That quality of life half cent is dedicated to pay off a bond 30 years, $2.27 million a year, in case you like numbers. And the balance of that is going to O&M so that we can run the new park with the revenues we need, because we're going to more than triple the people needed to run that facility. That money is dedicated. We're not taking anything from what we said we were going to do in the pledge we made. You give us $100, which was $10,000 of disposable income, spent in benton, hit with a 1 cent new tax. I ask you for $100. Many places where I talk, people said, well, now you got it, now what do you got to do? I said, I'm going to make a pledge to you, I'm going to give it back. I said, really? Well, here's the first step. If you look at the second column where it says 3.9, I'm going to propose to our council that we drop that to 3.0. In other words, we're going to start cutting personal property taxes for the citizens of Benton. If our financials are solvent and stable, and I think they will be, I think we're on the right path. You just keep letting the same folks help me that have been helping me. I will propose a year from now that the 3 goes to 1.5. If again in 2017 or 16 we're looking at the 2017 process, we're financially sound, I will propose for the first time citizens of Benton will not be paying personal property taxes when you assess in the city. Now, that means the 0.6, which we're allowed by state law to go to 1.0, right? Still has some questions. Jody and I and others are going to be watching. So if we need to do another adjustment, certainly I would never take the 3 down to 1.5, and I need another 2/10 to stabilize the fire pension group so that it gets to the golden rule. You've got to take care of your unfunded liabilities within 10 years. If we can get that done, then we can keep right on taking us up there. What does that mean to the average person? $42. I promised you 100. I asked you for 100. I said we'd make a pledge. If you keep score with me, there's 42. Let's move on. I've changed now to talk about another very important thing that impacts all of this as well as that pledge. As it stands today, this is an aerial view of the location we are currently working with, and it's kind of hard for you to see, but just say it's a little bit to the left of center of the cluster of buildings. If you wouldn't mind, Robert, if you could walk over there and point to, I'm sorry, I should have put a number on it. But this is on Highway 5, and the intersection you see to the right, which is Alcoa Road, the new construction for exit 121 is up, is the dark.
I'm not tall enough.
Well, you can't reach to your right, can you?
Get up here and point.
Point to the construction. Point to the construction area there by the upper right-hand side.
The fields are right
there. That there is. Thank you. That is where the Kroger Marketplace, Academy Sports, etc., more restaurants, other things. Where's Lamont here? Yes, sir. Hopefully some announcements in 90 to 120 days and so on. But if you get to that intersection, you can either go right or left, and we got to go left. And if you come on down, keep on coming, keep on coming, keep on coming, keep on coming, right there. And you see that little kind of U-shaped white thing right there? He's so good, better than a pointer. Thank you. That is a piece of property we're currently looking at, have surveys going on. Chief Ford and his people, council for Houston, are working on for the next fire station. Population demand has driven us there. It can't go to exit 114 because we don't have the customers there yet. But we're going to have customers there. So I'm telling you that because hopefully when the survey, if all those dock issues get resolved, and if they don't, we'll still be working within a half mile one way or the other. I hope Chief Ford will have a chance to put a sign up out there by November, and you know what the sign is going to say? New police fire substation. We made a pledge that there would be precinct kinds of work because we're growing so much. The first design police fire substation is being designed. That's where it's going to go, or within a half mile of there. Why is that important? Because I just got my other $90 to my 42. Why? A year and a half ago, our ISO review said we had 2 problems. One was we didn't have a pumper truck. Got a pumper truck. 2 was we don't have enough people to pass the resource, human resource side of the equation. We put this up, get it done by late next year, early spring of 2016. Bill, if I get this wrong, correct. We have the right to petition for an ISO reevaluation within 6 months. I feel very confident the pledge we made that we're going to go from ISO 3 to ISO 2 is going to happen.
That'll be
I can tell you for my homeowner's bill, it's $90. $90. You take the 42 from the personal property and add 90, and what do you get? 132. I said we'd find a way, possible to give back the $100 that the people were willing to give us. This isn't about taxes. This is about how we use the money and how we grow a city how we're creating many job opportunities. What was the last count on this one? 850 jobs at exit 121? 912 jobs. Riverside Park will be double that. Exit 120, exit 114 would be at least double that. So that's pretty much where we are, I think. Yes, okay, got it all. So at this point, I'm sorry I've run a little longer than I wanted to spend about 30 minutes. Well, that's not bad. I'll open up for any questions unless somebody on the staff or someone has remembered something I've forgotten. Anyone? Press? Citizen? Anybody have a question? I thought you're welcome. Okay. Any no questions?